Hey everyone, this is the Hot Revenge community. Ready to listen to a new hot story? Then get comfortable and we're starting.
The story will be told from the perspective of the main female character.
During my sister Skylar's wedding reception, I presented her with the title for a condo I had completely paid off. The property was valued at $450,000. She pulled the document from the folder, checked the address, and immediately burst into laughter. With 180 attendees watching, she leaned her head back and laughed right into the microphone. "Nicole, this isn't the neighborhood I asked for," she announced, using an overly sweet, mocking tone. "I refuse to live in that undesirable area. It totally ruins my image." A number of the guests joined in her laughter. Several months have passed since then. Today, I took a hike. I paused on a minor peak, taking deep breaths of the cold, crisp air that smelled like pine trees and clean quiet. I am not a person who fixes problems. I am not a convenient target for blame. I no longer fit the definition of the daughter I once was. Please leave a comment telling me your location and the current time. It helps me understand who is tuning into our community. You need to picture my expression. It was not a smile motivated by shame or distress. It was the look I used during huge merger negotiations just before dismantling the opposing legal team. This smile communicates, "I understand. I have evaluated this situation completely, and I am preparing to sell everything you own." I call this my M&A face. My name is Nicole. I am 37 years old. I am an M&A lawyer, which means my habitat is a pristine, high-rise office situated on the 50th floor. My routine involves work weeks exceeding 100 hours. My coffee is usually cold by the time I drink it at 3 a.m. My job requires legal documents to be flawless, down to every punctuation mark. I fulfill the role of the problem solver, the official emergency contact, the person responsible for signing payments. My life operates based on pure logic and executed paperwork. My sister Skylar is 29. She aims to become a significant wellness personality. Her existence is a meticulously planned visual display. Her profession is supposedly living her truth. This seems to involve ordering fancy coffees, going on yoga trips, and discussing genuine living, all while relying on others financially. Every element of her life is material for social media. Our parents describe her as creative and sensitive. What they actually mean is that standard rules never apply to her behavior. I returned to my seat. The sound of the chair legs dragging across the wooden floor echoed extremely loudly after the sudden laughter died down. The shocking, harsh humor of the entire situation washed over me. I had performed extensive due diligence on that condominium, reviewing the building's structure, safety standards, financial outlook, and potential for investment returns. My offering was security and a permanent residence. She rejected the house simply because it lacked the correct visual appeal for creating her videos. The change wasn't just a sudden decision. The mechanism was fully engaged, ready, and prepared for immediate action. The 180 guests who were laughing didn't grasp the real situation. The groom, Ashton, who kept staring down at his footwear, also seemed unaware of the facts. I was more than just her sibling. I was her venture capitalist, providing funds without credit or consent. For 5 years straight, I had been the exclusive funder of the Skylar brand. I maintained detailed documentation of all transactions. It is simply how I operate. Exhibit A, the upscale apartment in a high-rise building. The monthly charge was $3,800. $3 years ago, I established an automatic transfer, marking it temporary support. This was necessary so she could film with a suitable background. Exhibit B, the Tesla Model X she drove to the venue tonight. She had phoned me in tears, claiming she could not promote a sustainable lifestyle while driving an older sedan. She argued it damaged her reputation. I handled the initial down payment, and the financing remains under my name because her credit history was, and still is, abysmal. Exhibit C, various expenses. This included $5,000 for specialized business training workshops, numerous professional photography sessions, and costly wellness trips to Costa Rica, all deemed essential for generating content. I covered every single bill. You might be asking yourself why I permitted this behavior for such a long time. The answer is simple. I was trapped. My mother, Patricia, had constructed a perfect psychological cage for me. This trap had been in preparation since we were young kids. At countless family meals, she would pat my hand gently and say, "Nicole, you possess such strong responsibility. You are the rock." Then she would turn to Skylar and declare, "And you, Skylar, you are the artistic one. So highly sensitive. That sounds harmless, right?" It was not. It was behavioral conditioning. My designated responsibility turned into a lifetime obligation. My sister's designated creativity became a permanent excuse for being a parasite. My worth was calculated by how much I could provide, the number of hours I billed, and the value of the checks I issued. Skylar's worth was simply defined by her existence. Paying her expenses, enabling her lifestyle, and cleaning up her mistakes. That was the only path to being the preferred daughter. My financial support was not based on love. It was the necessary cost for remaining a part of my own family. And she had just taken that payment, that $450,000 gift, and ridiculed me publicly. The wedding speeches were indistinct. The main course of beef was overcooked. I just stayed in my seat, drinking water, keeping my M&A smile firmly in place. I waited until the music swelled and people began moving to the dance floor, then I stood up quietly to leave. I tried to exit without drawing attention. I nearly succeeded. "Nicole." I turned around. My sister was standing near the donut station, a bit of icing visible on her wrist. She showed no sadness or embarrassment. She was enraged. "What was the purpose of that?" she hissed softly. "Were you actively trying to humiliate me at my own wedding?" I just stared at her. "It was a gift, Skylar." "A gift, Nicole? That whole area is terrible. It's completely wrong for my brand. Did you even consider my audience? My clients? Ashton's clients? There isn't even decent natural illumination for filming inside those units." I checked the real estate listings. She had clearly checked the listings. She knew precisely what the gift was, and she decided it wasn't adequate. "I can't believe you would do such a thing," she continued, her voice volume increasing. "You are just jealous. You have your dull job and your uninteresting life, and you wanted to spoil my day by making the moment about your feelings." "Skylar, sweetie, lower your voice." My mother, Patricia, approached smoothly, covered in pearls and wearing her practiced polite expression. She placed a hand firmly on my arm, her fingernails digging in slightly. "Nicole, dear, don't be so difficult," she said, using that sweet, toxic voice I had known forever. "You know how your sister is. She is an artist. She means well. You can simply sell the property and help them put a deposit on a nicer residence." I shifted my gaze from my mother's smiling face to my sister's angry one. I attempted to pull my arm away. "I am not being difficult, Mom. I am departing." My mother's smile did not disappear, but her grip intensified until I felt pain. The sweetness vanished from her tone. "You absolutely will not," she whispered fiercely, her face inches from mine, her smile still fixed for any guests who might look over. "Listen to me, Nicole," she hissed, the words sharp and quick. "We each have specific parts to play. Tonight is not the time for dramatic behavior. You are the tough one. You are the financially responsible one. Your sister needs this help for her career. She requires a solid beginning. Your father and I, we cannot help. You understand we can't. Stop being selfish just because you feel hurt. Stop being selfish because you feel hurt." That single sentence was the core justification for decades of being financially exploited. I was not a person. I was not a daughter or a sibling. I was a designated role. I was the strong one. I was the family's bank. My single duty was to provide funding without question. I looked into my mother's perfectly made-up, desperate eyes. I finally understood the truth. She wasn't just tolerating Skylar's behavior. She was the originator of the entire dynamic. "Roles," I repeated, my voice completely devoid of emotion. In that instant, the final shred of guilt I felt, the guilt of the provider, the "don't be selfish" conditioning, disappeared completely. I looked at my mother, Patricia. I truly saw her not as my parent, but as the senior executive in this deceitful family business, the true planner. My M&A expression was gone. This was simply my real face. I turned back toward Skylar. My voice was low, flat, and held the warmth of a legal summons. "Skylar, I need the keys to the Tesla now." She blinked rapidly. The fury on her face faltered, instantly replaced by bewilderment. "What? Stop this, Nicole. You are being overly dramatic. This is my wedding day." "The keys," I stated. It was not a request. "The loan agreement is under my name. The insurance policy is mine. The vehicle registration is in my name. It is legally my vehicle. I will arrange for a flatbed truck to collect it on Monday, but I want the keys tonight." "Nicole," my mother's voice was a sharp explosion. "You absolutely will not do this. You will not cause this family any shame." That sentence was the ultimate provocation. I rotated my head just enough to look at her. "I am not the one embarrassing this family, Mom. You both already achieved that." I looked past both of them, through the large glass doors, toward the valet station outside. I lifted my hand high and signaled the attendant. Skylar saw the gesture. She realized I was finished negotiating. She was no longer an influencer speaking to her patron. She was a debtor facing her creditor. Her face collapsed. She fumbled inside the impractical, small beaded clutch she was carrying, her hands noticeably trembling. She retrieved the key fob and slapped it hard into my open palm. "You are horrible," she whispered, her eyes filling with what might have been genuine tears. I didn't care. "No," I replied, closing my fingers tightly around the warm plastic. "I am simply direct, and I have all the documentation." I turned and walked away. I did not rush. I walked directly out of the reception room, my heels clicking on the highly polished floor. I could sense the eyes of 180 guests fixed on my back. I stepped outside into the cool night air, holding the Tesla key fob in one hand and the title to a $45,000 condo in the other. By 7:00 a.m. the following morning, I was settled in my home office. I was already on my third mug of coffee. It was piping hot. It was truly the best coffee I had ever tasted. My M&A mind was fully operational. This ceased to be a family argument. This was a corporate divestiture. I was systematically removing a detrimental, underperforming asset from my financial portfolio. I had already formalized the 4-step exit plan. Step 1, 7:01 a.m. I sent an email to my legal representative. The subject line read, "Repayment demand for Skylar." I attached the highly detailed financial record I had maintained for years, listing the Tesla debt, the insurance costs, and the seminar fees. I instructed him to draft an official demand letter for immediate repayment. Step 2, 7:03 a.m. I logged into my banking application. I located the recurring automatic transfer for $3,800, labeled temporary support. I clicked the cancellation button. A small, deeply satisfying confirmation box appeared. "Are you certain you wish to cancel this recurring payment?" I clicked yes. Step 3, 7:05 a.m. I was speaking with my insurance professional. I removed Skylar as an authorized driver from my policy. I also removed the Tesla, listing it as pending sale. Step 4, 7:07 a.m. to 7:10 a.m. The final protective barrier. I reviewed every account I maintained, streaming services, online shopping accounts, the security code for my apartment complex, my cell phone plan, every shared password, every access point. I changed them all. The operational cleanup was complete. I sat back comfortably and took another swallow of my coffee. It was still hot. It tasted exactly like personal freedom. I need to quickly step back. My actions that morning were based on facts, not emotion. When I got home from the wedding after midnight, I was completely exhausted. I didn't just feel tired, I felt empty. The quietness in my apartment was overwhelming. I took a hot shower for a long time, trying to wash off the smell of frosting, champagne, and my sister's particular betrayal. As I dried my hair, I saw it. A plain white envelope was slipped under the door. It had no sender's address. Just my name, Nicole, written on the front in a recognizable script. I opened it. Inside were a note and several printed papers. The note was from Ashton, the groom. "Nicole," it read. "This is only from me. I didn't know about the rent, the car, any of it. She claimed you offered minor help. I found this in her phone drafts while she showered. I'm very sorry about tonight. I don't know what I should do. I set his note aside and unfolded the printouts. I immediately felt cold shock. It was a screenshot from a shared iPhone note. The title was Nicole's Budget. The sharing icon showed 2 users, Skylar and my mother, Patricia. This list detailed future requirements, not paid expenses. It was a full-scale business plan. Q4 brand investment. Ask Nicole by October, $15,000. G Wagon upgrade. Trade Tesla. Nicole covers the remaining cost, $30,000. Down payment for the real house, after selling cheap condo, $75,000. My hands started shaking, but it wasn't grief. It was an extremely cold, quiet rage. This wasn't minor entitlement. This was calculated. It was a long-term plan for financial gain. This was a conspiracy. My mother was not an enabler. She was the co-manager of this scheme. She wasn't just fixing things. She was actively overseeing her asset, which was me. I laid the documents on my counter. All my previous guilt, the obligation to provide, the conditioning to not be selfish, it all vanished. I wasn't leaving my family. I was withdrawing from a dishonest partnership. I went asleep after that. I slept for 6 straight hours. Waking up at 7 a.m., I wasn't upset. I was a lawyer executing a contract that I was finally canceling. By 8 a.m., my phone was chaos. The muted family chat was exploding. First, Skylar, "Are you serious? You canceled my lease. Our trip is tomorrow. You want to ruin me." Then an aunt, "Nicole, your mother is frantic. How could you be so cruel?" Skylar again, "You stole the car. I am calling the police." I watched the incoming messages, a digital rush of manufactured panic. I did not respond or defend myself. I just found the screenshot of Nicole's Budget, showing both names at the top, and posted it to the group. No comment was needed. The noise stopped instantly. It was absolute dead silence. 5 minutes later, my dedicated office line rang. A clear power move. Nicole speaking. "What have you done?" It was a shriek. My mother, Patricia, was enraged, not crying. I leaned back. "Good morning, Mom. I'm just balancing the financial books." "Balancing the books? You brought shame on us. You ruined your sister, the car, the rent, your aunt's messages. You created a scene." "I didn't create anything," I said calmly. "I just stopped paying the expenses." Her breath caught. The anger was replaced by her usual tactic, tears. "Nicole, honey, please, we're family. You can't do this to her. She's creative. You know how she is. You wouldn't do this to me." I waited. "I saw the note, Mom." Silence followed, heavy and absolute. "The Nicole's Budget note," I continued quietly. "The shared one. The G Wagon. The $75,000 for the house. The Q4 money." I heard a small gasp. "M&A lawyers fail all the time, Mom. You know why? They let emotions cloud their business decisions. They keep a bad deal because they're too attached. I won't be one of them. I won't be my family's bad deal." Nicole, stop." Her voice was desperate. "I have to go," I said. "I have a Tokyo call. Enjoy your Q4 investment." I hung up. I didn't slam the receiver. I just pressed the end button. That quiet click was the most satisfying sound ever. It's been 4 weeks. The family chat is still quiet. They probably started a new one without me. That's fine. I didn't sell the $450,000 condo. I rented it out. A partner's daughter is a surgical resident nearby. She and her fiancé needed a quiet, safe, affordable place. I gave it to them below market rate. They send me sunset photos from the balcony. They say the stable place has been a lifesaver during their 36-hour shifts. I find that ironic. The Tesla Model X is in my garage. I drive it Sundays to charge the battery. It still faintly smells like Skylar's perfume, but the scent is fading. It smells less like her every day, more like just a car. I didn't delete the Nicole's Budget file. Lawyers keep evidence. I just red-idled it, lessons learned, and archived the document. It is 7 a.m. Sunday, I have no calls. My phone isn't ringing with texts asking for money. I'm on my balcony looking over the city. It's quiet. I hold my coffee. I take a sip, and for the first time in years, it's still hot. I close my eyes. I feel the sun and the strange lightness of a heavy load I didn't know I carried. It is just gone. This story is about reaching your limit. It's about accepting that saying no is enough. If you've ever felt like the responsible one, the one expected to keep everything running, share this. Someone might need the courage to finally put that weight down and take back their life.